So I'm finally going to do the occult tea tag.
Can't have one without the other. The dark without the light.
Hello, beautiful creatures. Welcome to my channel. I am Aradia, the Witch of Dark Light, and I hope you all are doing well. I didn't prepare. I didn't look at these questions for the hashtag that was created by Ella Harrison, the Redhead Witch, and the Polish Folk Witch. And the hashtag is occult tea, as many of you may have heard or seen or even watched some of the videos. Now, this is going to be a long one, so I'm going to jump right in. I didn't prepare. Usually when I do, I haven't done many, but when I do a tag, I kind of like to go over the questions so that I won't go off on a rant or a tangent and just, get straight to the point. So we'll see what happens. So let's go to the first topic, which is the impact on community. So what is my personal reasoning, inspiration behind sharing my practice online? So when I look back and I think about this question, some of the reasons was, and at the time I didn't really look at this as joining a community. I didn't think being a part of a online community wasn't even on my mind. I didn't think there was a community. What I wanted to do was just kind of journal and share some of my experiences and have, it sounds funny, but like have someone to talk to. You're talking to a camera, but just kind of share some of the things that go on in my life where in the realm of spirituality. What am I looking to achieve by participating? And do I seek to educate, learn, or connect? Well, I'm not looking for anything in return. Like I said initially, I didn't even think there was a community. However, with the good and bad, I'm happy that there is a community to be a part of in sharing these things, because every person is a teacher and student. At different phases at some point in their life. Do I seek to educate, learn, or connect? A little thing about me is I am the oldest out of 8 children, right? So I had to kind of teach all my life, helping them, guiding them, watching them, taking care of them. And then even after that, during my phase of Christianity, going into churches, I somehow find myself being the youth leader and running youth programs. So all my life, at least the beginning part of half of my life, I was in some way, shape, or form in a role to mentor and teach. So I didn't set out to teach when making this channel. It's just something that comes natural to me. I find myself, and I don't mean to do it. So a lot of times it sounds like I'm meaning to teach. And maybe I am, but my goal is to share. And in sharing it, I want to break down what those, the directions or instructions and the foundation and what it is and all of that. At least when I watch YouTube videos, that is what I would like to get out of it. When you share something, show us some of the things that you are doing in your life, I like to understand what it is and kind of learn how it is that you do it. So no, I didn't set out to teach. I set out to share. And like I said, sometimes it may come off like I'm teaching, but that is, when we look at other people's, this is why every YouTube creator is unique. So you can't say, just because you don't vibe with that creator doesn't mean someone else might not, right? All right. I don't want to make this too long, so let me go on to the next question. How do I believe social media as a whole has impacted the community? I think, one theme for me that you're going to find throughout all of these questions is I am older, so I'm more in the crone phase of my life. So I've seen things, the cycle of things come and go. And throughout not just the witchcraft community, throughout life in general, in any group that you're in, you are going to have these core topics, right? You're going to have these things that you have to question whether or not this is authentic, question whether or not this is something that you want to learn from. This is something that you want to take into your circle of what it is that you do. So, in all walks of areas of life, you will find these concerns. So, being the age that I am, I have seen things cycle and, they come and they go. But, it's at the end of the day, you have to figure out what works best for you and take what resonates and then go do your own research in everything that you do. Okay. So, again, back to that question, how do I believe social media as a whole, has impacted the community? I think great, because before we had this world of social media, it was kind of difficult for a lot of witches to get information. I know for myself, we had to really do the research and dig to find others that were into some of the same things that we are doing and even learning things. So I think, you take the good. It's always good and bad with everything. So I think it's a great thing to have access to all this information. How do I think social platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube have impacted education, sharing, and information? And I think this is across the board, from at least from some of the videos that I've watched for this tag. I think across the board, it's kind of the same consensus, right? It's when you have platforms like TikTok, these are short form platforms. So you don't really get a chance to see more of the whole picture of creating a spell. So you only get this snippet of a much larger story, and it might mislead you. So I have a TikTok, but what I do is share a snippet of some of the things that I've already done. I don't create things specifically for TikTok. I take what I've from what I've done over on YouTube. The same for Instagram. I don't really share specifically to Instagram. They are just kind of run over things from what I do on YouTube and other platforms. But I think it is not is sharing things too quickly, right? So I think it's catering to this form of learning that everything is quick. There's no patience. And I think that's a lot of the problem today, that people want this microwave learning where you just pop it in and it's done. But there's, a lot of experience that needs to go into understanding and life experiences that you have to have. You can read a book, gain the knowledge, and take a course, but that's why there's internship, right? You have to learn these things and actually physically experience them. So I think that is kind of lost in translation nowadays with these platforms. Even on YouTube, you can have a long form video, but there's still so much behind the scenes that you have to understand that goes on, and the time that it takes to do these things. And is consuming witchcraft content becoming a substitute for practice? I'm going to answer that for myself because I'm assuming this is what these questions are, our practice and our opinion on these things. So for me, no. What I can tell you though is it keeps me accountable. If I want to stay relevant in the algorithm, I it keeps me saying, okay, keeps my mind going as a creator to create and think about, okay, oh, this is something I might want to share. So let me see how I will present that. So it keeps me on my toes. And so the next topic is influencer authenticity. I think this is a big one, and at some point I did battle with. So the first question is, out of what I share on social media, how much of it is stage versus reality? So for me, if you've been on this channel, I love the theatrics of things. I love the things because that's what inspires me. For me, I tap into magic a lot of the times through the setting the tone of things. So that's why I share it in the way that I do. Now, when I do magic, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. So of course I'm editing and I'm cutting out the things where I may sit and just meditate with the candle a lot longer than what it is that I'm sharing with you. So you'll see things kind of fast forward. But I do actually do share spells with you, and I'm at the moment that you're watching the video, it was an active spell. So I don't mind sharing spells. It's just that I throughout some of my videos you'll hear me say there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, right? This is not the whole story of this spell. Right? So what I share is what I feel like I'm okay to share, because some spells you kind of want to do behind the scenes, not because it's going to take long, but there's some parts of the spell that you want to do behind the scenes. So yes, so that's a yes or no question. Yes, things are staged, but it's only staged in a way that, one, I'm cutting out the things that I don't think I want to share, and two, cutting out the length of time it takes me to do what it is that I'm doing. So that's that answer to that. So what's the next question? Do I think there is an element of censorship in online spaces? I mean, I haven't really seen it, so not really. Again, this is a world that we're coming into because we were kind of shunned, right? Because we were told we could not do these things. We were told these things are evil. We were told these things aren't, you know, just evil, right? When you think about witchcraft. And so I think the idea of censorship shouldn't really be a thing, because this is a space where you feel like you are allowed to express yourself. How do I decipher what is appropriate to share online versus what to keep privately? Well, I think I just spoke a little bit about that. There are some things that I think are personal, right? There's and not just in spell work. There are some things about I'm a more private person, so that's why I have these other platforms where I can be more private and the whole world, I mean, whatever the amount of people that's watching my videos aren't seeing. So I like to keep that in a smaller space because I feel these things are more private and personal to me. Is this based on social media etiquette or personal preference? Have I ever encountered or heard of grifters in our community? So I had to look up these words, right? Grifters and FOMO. I had to first find out what these words even meant before I can begin to answer them. So, have I ever encountered grifters? I have not heard of grifters. Well, this word, but based on the definition of grifters, I have encountered them. And do I recognize them? Yes. And what are significant signs of grifters in this community? And I think I've heard this across the board is people that try to imitate someone else and to kind of get your money. So there's a lot of fake accounts created. So that is the area that I've, as far as grifters are concerned, that I've encountered. You know, I haven't encountered really any drama, thankfully, because I keep to myself, or I'm. It's not that I keep to myself. I'm not a person that engages a lot under like in comments and different things like that. So maybe that's why I haven't really encountered them, but I have not thus far that much. So, what tools are helpful to decipher misinformation, and how can we as a community prevent widespread misinformation? Well, first, community. So when we say community, I'm answering this question kind of backwards. At the end it says, and how can we as a community prevent widespread misinformation? So this is an umbrella, right? We're under an umbrella of witchcraft. There's a community, but there's so many different factions under this community. And again, like I mentioned, we come into this world because we want to be free to express ourselves as witches, express our craft, and be intuitive. So the idea of coming together as a community to stop certain things, misinformation, who determines that it's misinformation, right? You may think, oh, I don't agree with that. So how, and someone else might. So, who are you to say that this is wrong? We have so much unverified personal gnosis and things like that. But as a person, as the consumer, as the person watching these creators, I think it's your responsibility, and you should want to do your homework. You hear someone, any person that, every one of us, if you're watching us, you should take what we are saying and go do the research for yourself. I think the purpose of creators is to bring to light things, share things, for within the realms of witchcraft, share their craft. And if it's something that you see that resonates with you, go do your homework. I don't care who it is. Go do your homework. When I tell you something, go do your homework, right? So that's how you can decipher what is misinformation for yourself. How does a large following impact the perception of the creator? It's unfortunate that when you see, and I'm guilty of that myself periodically, when I'm looking for a certain topic to learn something and I see higher numbers, sometimes I click on that because I'm like, okay, why does this person have all these high numbers? I don't go into it saying, okay, they must know what they're talking about. But I click on that video because I'm saying to myself, well, why does this creator have the higher numbers? So that's unfortunate. And because there's a lot of smaller creators and smaller channels that have way much better, in my opinion, information, and that's based on what it is that I like. So does this immediately make them an expert? Hell no. Or are there other assumptions as to why they may have a large following? Okay, so I kind of answered that. You go in first. I think when you watch, if you're going to click on something, like I just mentioned, if you click on it because you see they have larger numbers, still go into it with, let me make sure, let me check first, let me see what's going on here. Don't go into it with, oh, this person must be an expert in that field. So that's my opinion on that. How does one maintain the balance of authenticity and content creation? Well, you just have to make sure what it is that you are doing as a creator is something that you really resonate with, you know. And being authentic doesn't mean, you're gonna, that you have to come present yourself just, you know, in a certain way. Being authentic is being yourself, doing what it is that you love, and not doing it because someone else is doing it because it's coming from a place of, it's coming from in here, right? So that is how you can, I feel like you can be authentic. Always asking yourself, is this something that I truly love doing? Because if it is, then that is where you can keep yourself balanced as a creator with authenticity. Imposter syndrome and FOMO. Again, that was a word I had to look up. When I follow other creators in the community space, does it make me feel genuinely inspired and empowered, or does it create feelings of FOMO and being less than? This is a question that is kind of, it's a difficult question. One, because if in your life in general, you have things going on and you may feel, if you're not doing your shadow work, for example, or I want to use another word other than shadow work, but if you're not, going within, there are things of unworthiness. This is a lot of people in their lives have had to deal with rejection. So that makes a lot of people feel not worthy. And this crosses over into every areas of your life. So even as a creator, if you see someone else with more numbers or more, and I'm going to talk about myself, right? So there has been periods in my life, the short time that I've been online, and that was, I didn't mention when I started, that was around 2019 in the summer. And during that time, there's been periods in my life where I've gone through things. So that impacts the way I viewed myself as a creator. So it that FOMO did cross over into the way that I felt about, comparing myself to what other creators were doing. So I had to step back and think about why that was, and see where that was coming from. And you have to do the work and build your confidence. And I think, because it's going to happen, you're going to develop the FOMO if you aren't a secure person. So that's what you have to do first is, if that happens, not the end of the world, because it happens to a lot of people, you have to find out why, the core reason of that. And if I experience FOMO, has it ever left me feeling vulnerable to be taken advantage of, or financially or otherwise? No, didn't cross over into that area. An example would be the need to purchase the latest popular product or book to fit in. Nope. When practicing my craft, do I find myself comparing what I do to what I've been seeing people do online? I have been there. Like I said, I have been there. But again, I make sure that I sit and process that. And then I make sure that if that happens, I'll, go back and say, wait a minute, I have to be authentic in what it is that I'm sharing and not care about the algorithm, not care about, how many people is going to see this, but because that's not the reason why I created this channel. I just wanted to share the things that are in my life, some of my experiences in my journey. So I have to constantly make sure that, and these things can happen, right? I want to put that out there because some people could be feeling bad that they've been victims of this. We have different phases of the planets, right? Different alignments. We have things that happen in our lives, ups and downs. So during those down moments, during alignments that are affecting you in certain ways, right? Whatever it is, that moment when you're down and low, these things can creep in. It's just a part of life. But the thing about that is, it's up to you to say, okay, wait a minute. I recognize that, and that's where like that advanced, right? That advanced beyond the basics comes in. You recognize that, and you go, no, okay, no. I have to take care of this, and you begin to take the steps to bring you out of that. So yeah. In what ways do I combat imposter? Okay, I just answered that. What would my practice look like without the social media influence of other creators? Okay, first, I don't really share my practice. I share some spell work and some of the things that are a part of my practice. You're not really seeing my whole practice. I'm very dedicated to what it is that I believe when it comes to spirituality. So I'm not easily influenced to shift that because of the things that I see from other creators. So I have no problem with that. My practice will, whether I'm on social media, off social media, whoever I watch, doesn't impact me. I believe what I believe, and I'm a Libra, so like justice. I believe what I believe, and once I believe something, and once I'm in my practice, I'm a Taurus rising, so I'm kind of stubborn, and I'm not easily moved when it comes to that. So, topic 4: capitalizing off community. Do I consider online communities as equally valid to in-person communities? Absolutely. Now, pre-COVID, I probably would have had a different take on this, but because during those years, we've had to do the Zooms and all of the things, and through this, I've built relationships online, and they are just as valid to me as in person. Now, I am a more in person person. I love personal interaction, and so I would prefer that. However, I presently have it's online is a beautiful thing right now because it connects people. Connects me with people that I would not otherwise be able to connect with due to the distance. So I think they are both equally valid. So next question. How have online occult witchcraft communities impacted me as a person and practitioner? Like I just mentioned, I would not have um, originally thought that I would be okay with online um, communities or online friendships, but it because of it, it has broadened my connection to people. So that's how it's impacted me. And what are some of the, well, let me backtrack. How have online occult witchcraft communities impacted me? Let me backtrack a little bit. I probably should have prepared, but again, like I mentioned, I'm more personal. So you don't really see all of me unless like you join a Zoom with me and we're like, I'm a person that loves that type of connection. But being in this community has helped me come out of my shell when it comes to being a part of a community. And I always say that I think Justin at Wine and, not Wine and Witch, well, that is Wine and Witchcraft, but Justin at the Witch of Enchantment, because before he invited me to come on to Wine and Witchcraft, me being a part of the witchcraft community wasn't really a thing in my mind. But ever since that, and ever since, his support, Brittany's support as well over on Wine and Witchcraft, the world of the witchcraft community kind of opened up to me. So I'm grateful for that. Now, on to the next question, which is, what are some of the dangers of the current phenomenon of capitalizing off the witchcraft community? Again, back to this is nothing new. This is something that is in every area of your life. You're always going to have those that want to join in, hop on the bandwagon and not be authentic about it and want to make money and make books and, and do all the things because they see this is something that is very influential. So it's there, you always have those types of people. So again, it's up to you as the individual to source out and do your due diligence and do the research before you get into anything, right? Or purchase anything. Have I been personally affected by this, or have I witnessed someone else be affected? No, I haven't, and I'm not sure that I know that someone else was affected by this. So I can't really, I don't know how to answer that question. Should there be paywalled communities and online courses? Hell yeah. I think this is a big one for me because I don't think it's a lot of times where I've given my time and things and helped and shared things and given things for free, and that zaps you. That's not, I don't think that is right, that someone should be giving their time and their things away for free. You should absolutely have paywalls. And you know when it comes to things like Patreon, because that's a big one, and channel memberships, I think channel memberships are okay because there are some things, especially for me, there are some things that I'm not going to share on the broader network. There are things like sexuality and learning that and teaching that. I'm not going to share that across the wider network. So there's some behind the scenes of my life that I'm not going to share. For Patreon, at least my Patreon, I'm not just talking over there, right? I'm sharing downloads and information, creating things and downloading it to share with the Patreon. So it's not just me doing a YouTube video and only letting the patrons see it. It is information being given over there. Certain things that some people would consider courses, right? So I spend my time figuring out what to create and what to share and how to deliver it. So it's information, physical information, like PDFs being given. And now I'm creating like sigils. So it's not just me talking over there on my Patreon. So for anyone that has a Patreon and they're doing all these things, I think absolutely there should be a paywall like Patreon, because you're putting your time and your effort into delivering things to people in a way that is, because you could give like grimoire pages, right? And all of these things. There's so much that you could give over on Patreon to help others. And not even just to help. It's not all about teaching, right? There are things that people want to be a part of. And like I said, it's a lot of things that I'm not going to share publicly that I can share in a paywall. And yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. I think if you have something that you want to give and it requires you to do some research, put in the work, create some product, create resources, and you share that, I think it's absolutely okay to have this Patreon. So I don't want to go off on a tangent on that because, yeah. How does one ensure the authenticity of courses, workshops, memberships, etc. as a financial investment? Again, back to that. Do your research. It's up to you, because you're going to have people that want to capitalize off of this. You're going to have some that think they are really sharing something that is, I'm not even going to say that, but you have to do your homework. It's up to you. You got to look at it like this. You're not just going to go to a nail to get your nails done, right? You're not just going to you're going to do your homework. You're going to stand here, at least I know I do. You're going to be like, okay, why isn't anybody going to that person? Or why does this person have a line? Or let me check out the energy of this person. You're going to do all of those things when you walk to a nail salon, because you want to make sure that when you sit down, that person is going to, and not all the time you're going to figure that out, because sometimes you do your homework and you happen to miss that one thing that pisses you off, and it's too late. But lesson learned. Maybe next time you'll know to look for that. But it's all in your experience, personal experience. As a matter of fact, I think it's important that you do have that experience, because you have to know the difference between the polarities of what works for you. So something may be bad for someone else, but it may be good for you. So it's all an experience, and you doing your homework, and then having those bad situations where you've taken a course and you're like, wait a minute, this didn't align with anything that I wanted to learn, but you did your homework. So it's good to have those experiences, because then now in doing your homework after that, you'll even know what more to look for. So that's that. Conclusions. What are some topics of conversation I'd like to see more of in our community? I can't really say that there's any, because there's so much being shared right now. I don't even know what else that I would think could be shared more of, because everyone has their unique way that they share it. Some like to go outdoors, some like to stay indoors. Some people are city witches, some people are country witches, some people are left-hand path, right-hand path, all of these things that are currently being shared in the community. So I don't really, I think we're sharing quite a bit, so I don't really have anything to add to that. What are my community needs? Again, I don't really know how to answer that either, because I really don't. There really isn't any community needs. Because again, I do a lot of things behind the scenes with others, so my connection there kind of fulfills all of that. Where would I like to be held and supported? Thumbs up and subscribe to my video, to my channel. Where do I feel like I'm not truly being seen by my community? I'm not really going to blame it's not the community, because I'm telling you, you could get lost in the sea of YouTube. It is a vast area, a vast space of billions of creators, right? So it's easy to get lost in there. So it's not necessarily all the time something that you are doing. And I had to learn that, because sometimes, again, you go through, I don't know if, kudos to you, if you are a creator and you have not ever let the analytics bother you. I had to get over that. I looked at the analytics, and again, if you aren't confident in certain areas of your life, it's easy for that to seek in. So I had to learn, don't pay attention to the analytics. That does not make you who you are, does not tell you who you are, does none of that. There's a vast sea of creators in the world of YouTube. Yes, there are things that you could be doing that prevent you from being noticed, like randomly doing videos and not having, a system like me. Yeah, so that's my answer to that. How can we help each other in removing the external peer pressure and grow in a community? How can we help each other in removing the external peer pressure? I don't think we can. I think that's just a part of life. How can we as a community come together more with constructive criticism without it seeming shady, passive, aggressive? Again, I put that right with my answer to the previous question. You can't police what everybody's different. This world is too vast and too, as small as it is too big for you to kind of say, this is what we should all be doing, right? But I think it's the responsibility of the creator and the person watching to communicate in a way that is healthy and balanced, right? But you don't always get that, and that's just life. How can we as a community do better when we do receive criticism and feedback? Well, I'm gonna answer it the way I do it. If I see someone say something negative, if it's constructive, right? If it's done in a way that is healthy. Like one time, a woman said to me under one of my videos a while back, and this was maybe about 2 years ago. She was like, "I liked the video, but the music was entirely too loud." I told her, I said, "Thank you for letting me know that, because I didn't know." So it's great to get that feedback, because sometimes the creator just doesn't know. So there's when it's constructive and done in a way that is right, I receive it. But if you're coming at me negatively, I just remove the comment. I don't even respond. I remove the comment. So, who are some community members that I look up to that are reliable resources and aspirations? I can't really answer that question either. You know why? Because I'm that type of person that I remember I don't know, I might be telling my age, but like Christopher Williams, right? Or even I remember Heavy D back in the day. There were some entertainers and actors and stars that I have been in the same area of, and everyone else would be like, "Oh my gosh!" I would be standing there like, "Okay, I've never been." There's not much that really things that excite me aren't the typical things that I you won't find me go to a concert and be screaming like, "Oh yeah," like others do when they see the performer come out. I'm just not that type of person. I wasn't built that way. So having people, there are creators that I love to watch, because I love what they share, and it entertains me, it uplifts me, it helps me to develop ideas and create. So with that question, I it's not necessarily look up to, but there are creators that I do enjoy watching, and I do enjoy some of the things that they share, and I enjoy their take on things and their perspective on things. And any further thoughts, comments, prompt questions, blah 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 blah. So, but this is a pretty long video, I'm sure. But I just wanted to jump on and add my 2 cents, put it out there so that it can be, with everyone else's thoughts on the matter. And my biggest thing is, when you get to the age that I am, you see things kind of repeat in the cycle of life. And you're like, okay, this is just a part of life. These are things that are going to happen in all areas of our lives. You're going to have these are human things. These are human aspects. So they're going to be a part of everything you do in life. So this is why my biggest thing in all of these questions is make sure that you are being authentic and going within, because I know as a creator, this is something that challenges me all the time. I have to make sure, even on my worst day, or days, that if it falls on a day that I'm creating and not really having I'm having a bad day, I want to make sure that I'm checking myself and that doesn't go into the things that I'm doing, because you can't stop living because of some of the things you're going through. As a matter of fact, for me, I went through traumatic things in my life recently and before that, and the things that keep me going are the creating. So for me, I have to constantly make sure that those things don't seep in, when they do sometimes, and then I have to, like, okay, let me reset because I see that this is affecting that area of my life when I create. So let me just do a reset, go in, and then as far as purchasing things and consuming things, it's up to you as the individual, and ask yourself, does this resonate with me? Okay, it does. Okay, so now let me take that and go do the research and learn it in a way that it works best for me, and understand the facts and the science behind it. So until the next video, I love you all, and into the shadows.